Any questions?
Okay, and then our last one is for engineering services.
And that is Seehee and Seehee.
Yes, sir.
Any questions on? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, early childhood, followed by education.
All right, Sam Adams from the Department of Early Childhood Education. Just have one amendment today. It's a $25,000 addition for Child Plus, which is a software program we use to monitor the progress of students in the early Head Start Child Care partnership that we do in conjunction with Department of Human Resources.
Any questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Education.
Good afternoon. I'm Connor Johnson from the Department of Education. We have two contracts on the agenda today. The first one is with College Board. College Board provides a variety of professional developments. The one that we're specifically interested in is their pre-AP professional development. They will be providing our Alabama teachers with training materials, supplies, and pre-AP readiness workshops.
Any questions? Next one.
Our next contract is with InChoice. InChoice is a program that we've been using for the past few years for teacher certification applications. This contract would allow InChoice to just sort of come in and fully fledge out our system and build a customized dashboard specifically for Alabama.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Finance. Historical, you're next. So finance. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Taylor Nichols, General Counsel, Department of Finance. We have one contract with PFM Financial Advisors. This is a financial advisory services amendment, second amendment to an existing contract related to infrastructure funding.
Any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Historical Commission. Next will be Medicaid.
We have two contracts before you today. The first one is an extension for $10,000 in a year. It is to complete a multiple property survey nomination for the National Park Service and to look at African-American sites that deals with the civil rights grants.
Any questions? Next one.
The next contract is a new contract for us, but it is 100% federal, and it's to look at African-American schools from 1954 to 72.
Any questions? Thank you so much. Medicaid.
Good afternoon, Nick Hines from the Alabama Medicaid Agency. We have one contract amendment before you today. It is with Health Management Systems, Inc. It is for third-party recovery services and cost avoidance, as well as HMS will also be performing some long-term care audits for the agency.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mental health.
Brian Penn, Mental Health. First one we have is Health Management Associates. It's an amendment to add additional services. This contract will provide a rate study of the department's waiver rate methodology for its intellectual disabilities living at home program and the community waiver program. Study will include recommendations for implementation of findings and incorporation of best practices in utilizing the most appropriate rate structures to support the delivery of service outcomes.
You know, I had a meeting this week with the people who are providing these residential centers, and they're having a terrible time with finding people to work them. Oh. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, the judges made us shut down all of our mental hospitals and move them into the community. Instead of having one nice, clean facility, we have multiple facilities spread out everywhere, and it's costing us. I mean, the insurance, the upkeep, and the staffing has doubled our. It's so expensive now. I mean, I know it's not your fault. I know y'all doing the best you can, but yes, we have a mental health crisis. We had one in Mobile. A guy shot and killed himself out in front of our government plaza. Next one, please.
Moving to a different drum, it's an amendment to add more time and money. The contractor provides technical assistance to the department to write and implement the 1115 waiver as it relates to person-centered services.
Any questions? Thank you. Pardons and parole.
Good afternoon. I'm Claudia Smith. I'm the General Counsel for Pardons and Parole. We have one contract today. It's new with Geo Reentry Services, LLC.
No,
Perry County Prep Center?
the what?
Yes,
And that's where y'all gonna work with prisoners and try and help them reenter society?
that's correct. And they're going to provide psychological and physical health services.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. Any questions? Yeah.
Do you have like an opening date?
November 28th.
Wow, that's right around the corner.
If we just have this contract in place, we'll be in great shape.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Plumbers, Gas Fitters Examination Board.
Afternoon, Jimmy Morgan, Executive Director at the Plumbers and Gas Fitters Board. We have one contract today with Prove Incorporated. They will be providing third-party examination services.
Y'all are leaving PSI.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. They absolutely, I'm not even going to use the word what they did to me this week. I was supposed to take a licensing exam, and they screwed it up so bad because I was getting a license in Mississippi.
Yes,
And
sir.
I found out subsequently, y'all are the only people left in Alabama to use them, and I congratulate you for moving to a different testing
Thank you.
service. So, thank you. Any questions? Public Health.
Good afternoon. I'm Valerie Russell with the Public Health. I'm here about a 2-year contract with West Alabama AIDS Outreach. It's 100% state funded, $100,000. It's for examination, labs, and treatment for STD patients in West Central District of
Any
Alabama.
questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Transportation.
Clay McBride with the Alabama DOT. We have one new contract for geotechnical services for our contracts. United Consulting Group, 80% federal, 20% state match.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Youth Services.
Good afternoon. I'm Dudley Perry. I'm General Counsel for DYS. I have one contract. This is a foreign language interpreters contract for students at the DYS institutions.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Legal Services Contract. First at bat is ADECA.
Good afternoon again. I'm Ashley Toole with the DECA. We've got one contract with John Rice of Balch and Bingham for a 2-year period.
Any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cannabis Commission. What's your name again?
Good afternoon. I'm Daniel Austry with the Alabama Cannabis Commission, members of the committee. We have one legal contract. This is a renewal for non-litigation services.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Attorney General's Office.
Clay Crenshaw with AG's office. This is a contract with Donald Leach, who will be an expert witness in a case where we actually lost that in the Middle District here regarding an ALEA rule that requires you to put the correct gender on your driver's license. That case is on appeal to the 11th Circuit. So we've lined up Mr. Leach just in case the case is remanded back to the district court after what we hope to be a successful appeal.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Construction Industry Craft Training Board.
Good afternoon. My name is Laura Hudgens. I'm with the Alabama Construction Industry Craft Training Board. And the contract that we have today is for legal services for continuation.
Any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Corrections.
Good
Good afternoon. I'm Mandy Spears with the Alabama Department of Corrections. Today we have 2 legal services contracts. The first is Robbie Hyde of Alexander Hyde. This is for representation of Jujuan Wiggum in the lawsuit styled Smith v. Wiggum. It's a federal court case. This is a 2-year, not to exceed $200,000 contract covered by the General Liability Trust Fund.
All right, next one.
The next is Steve Herndon of Herndon Law. He will provide representation of Josiah Higgins in the lawsuit style Bearfield v. Jefferson Dunn et al. This again is a federal case. This is a not to exceed $200,000 2-year contract, again covered by the General Liability Trust Fund.
Any questions? Yeah.
Sandy, you almost messed up and said Barfoot, didn't you?
I did. Just thinking of you.
Education. Thank you so much. Education.
Good afternoon again. Connor Johnston with the Department of Education. We have 1 legal services contract with Balch and Bingham. This would allow them to provide legal services to the Charter School Commission. Our attorneys at the department are not allowed to provide legal services to the Charter School Commission. Our interests don't always align, so if a conflict was to arise, that'd be a conflict of interest for our attorneys.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Finance.
Good afternoon. I'm Darrell Masters, Department of Finance and Division of Risk Management. We have 1 contract for you today. I believe we have a second finance contract after this. But this is a contract with Hulsford Gilliland Law Firm here in Montgomery with Mr. David Stevens, who provides legal services to the Alabama State Employee Injury Compensation Trust Fund. It's a renewal and an amendment to raise his rates by a few dollars per hour. And I believe that's first
But he's
rate.
still under the standard hourly, though.
Sir?
He's still under the 195.
He is, Your Honor, and it's the first rate increase he's had since 2009.
Any questions? Next one.
Taylor Nichols, Finance Department. This second one is Maynard Cooper and Gale. This is bond counsel for upcoming infrastructure projects.
Any questions? Thank you. Human Resources.
Jennifer Bush with DHR Legal Office. We have 2 legal services contracts. The first is Bainbridge, Mims, Rogers, and Smith LLP. It is an amendment to increase the total dollar amount. The hourly rate is $195 per hour.
Any questions? What lawsuit is it, if you don't mind me?
It is a class action AA.
Yeah, I saw that, but what's it alleging?
It has to do with services provided in residential facilities.
Thank you so much.
The second legal services contract is a 2-year renewal and an amendment to increase the dollar amount, and it is with Lee and Lassiter PC. It is $70 out of court and in court, and it is for an attorney to provide general services to the county DHR office.
Any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Speaker of the House.
Good afternoon. We just have 1 contract with Capella
I'm
Howard.
sorry, what was your name?
Andrew Westcott, sorry. We just have the 1 contract with Capella and Howard who will help members when they get subpoenaed for certain documents. It's a sealing contract, and we don't know of anything that's coming up that'll require it right now.
Have you not gotten any of those requests for, we have to go through your computer and give them every email you've ever gotten or received, produce them all? He's the one that says that's privileged information. He's the one that blocks them for us. So next time, introduce yourself.
My apologies.
Thank you. Transportation.
We have 1 new contract with James A. Bradford, Balch, and Bingham for a lawsuit we've got down in Baldwin County.
Any questions? Thank y'all so much. We have a tentative schedule for the upcoming year here, and I'd like to remind each of you that this committee continues after the election. The law basically says if you are a member of this committee and you are reelected, you will stay on this committee until such time as they're reappointed in January. So we will meet in December. All right. With that, we're adjourned. Thank you.